A brief glance back to her eyes. A subtle smile. That's it. That single moment communicates three things at once. I noticed. I appreciate it. I'm in control. If she leans in again after that, the signal just got louder. And now the game changes again because from this point on, her body stops positioning itself around you and starts orienting toward you. And that's where things become impossible to misread unless you're still operating under the wrong assumptions. At this stage, something subtle but important has already happened. She's no longer testing if you're interested, she's testing whether you're capable of leading. And leadership here has nothing to do with dominance. It has everything to do with direction. Number 5. She sits with her legs pointed toward you or crosses them slowly. This is one of the oldest signals in human behavior. Feet and knees don't lie. When a woman points her legs toward you, she's aligning her body with her focus. When she turns them away, her attention follows. But when she crosses and uncrosses her legs slowly, especially while holding eye contact, that's not subconscious anymore. That's deliberate pacing. She's controlling rhythm. She's slowing the moment down. She's asking a quiet question without using words. Are you present enough to stay with me right here? Men who rush miss this. Men who freeze miss it too. Men who stay grounded. Notice she crosses slowly, uncrosses slowly, adjusts again. Each movement draws attention to her thighs. Not because she wants you overwhelmed, but because she wants you aware. So you don't comment on her legs. You don't compliment the obvious. You hold eye contact while she moves, then calmly. You comfortable over there? If she smiles, if she says very. If she doesn't break eye contact, she just confirmed what her body has been saying all along. But here's where the script takes a turn. Most men aren't ready for. Because once physical signaling reaches this level, she doesn't just want attention anymore. She wants context. She wants to know if you can imagine her somewhere more private without her having to say it. Number 4. She finds ways to let you know her bedroom exists. Listen carefully. She's not inviting you over yet. She's planting imagery. My bed is so comfortable. I never want to leave it. I just redecorated my bedroom. You'd love it. I've got that movie at my place. On the surface, these sound harmless, casual. They're not. Women who do this aren't asking you to come over. They're asking if you can follow a thread. If you respond flatly, oh, nice, the thread dies. But men who understand escalation don't jump ahead. They stay with the moment. Oh yeah, what makes this bed so special? That question does something important. It gives her permission to go further without forcing her to expose herself. If she elaborates, if her tone softens, if she leans in while she answers, the door just opened quietly. And now the final layer starts to emerge because from here on out, she's no longer hiding attraction behind her body or environment. She starts letting it leak through her words. And that's where men either rise to the moment or retreat back into safety. This is where things stop being ambiguous. Up to now, everything has been deniable: body language, positioning, environment. But when words enter the picture, something shifts internally for both of you, because now she's no longer just seeing if you notice. She's watching how you handle tension. Number 3, she brings up sex casually or turns the conversation sexual. This is where many men sabotage themselves without realizing it. A sexual joke slips out. An innuendo hangs in the air a second longer than necessary. She asks, "What's your type?" Or, "What do you think is sexy?" She's not asking for information. She's testing emotional temperature. Women don't introduce sexual topics around men they don't feel safe being sexual with. And safe here doesn't mean harmless. It means contained. Men who react with nervous laughter signal uncertainty. Men who overdo it signal desperation. But men who stay calm, who don't rush to impress or retreat to politeness, signal something else entirely. They signal capacity. So, when she makes a sexual joke, you don't flinch. You don't explain. You don't sanitize it. You meet it playfully, lightly, with control. You respond just enough to show you're present, not enough to show you're chasing. If she keeps the topic alive after that, she's not flirting anymore. She's inviting you to step into a shared frame, and whether you do or not, tells her everything she needs to know. Number 2, she touches you in places that aren't friendly. This is where denial collapses. A hand on your chest when she laughs. Her fingers resting on your lower back as she walks past. A hand placed on your thigh and left there. These aren't accidents and they're not neutral. These are intimate zones. Women don't touch men there unless they're comfortable with physical closeness or actively seeking it. At this point, she's not asking if you're attracted. She's asking if you're willing to respond. And response doesn't mean escalation. It means symmetry. Men who understand this don't freeze. They don't pull away. They don't overcorrect. They match. Same placement, same pressure, same calm energy. No rush, no grabbing. If she doesn't pull back, the boundary has already been crossed quietly, mutually. And now, there's only one signal left, the one most men dismiss as venting, the one that ends everything if you misunderstand it. Because this final sign isn't physical at all. It's verbal, and it's far more direct than you were ever taught to expect. This is the moment where everything you've learned either clicks or disappears. Because this final signal isn't subtle. It isn't hidden behind posture or touch. It's as close to direct as many women will ever allow themselves to be. And men miss it more than any other. Number 1, she tells you she's horny, lonely, or needs company. Listen carefully to the phrasing. I've been so horny lately. I hate sleeping alone. I'm lonely tonight. I could really use some company. This is not venting. This is not oversharing. This is invitation without risk. Women don't say these things to men they don't want imagining themselves in that space. They say it because they're offering you a door and watching to see if you recognize it. Men who play it safe here don't do so because they're weak. They do it because they're still operating under an outdated rule. If she wants me, she'll say it clearly. This is her version of clear. And when you respond with sympathy, oh, that sucks. That must be hard. You don't come across as kind. You come across as unavailable. The correct response isn't aggressive. It isn't explicit. It's grounded. It sounds like you need to do something about that. Then you stop talking. You let the silence work. If she says, maybe I do. If she smiles, if she doesn't backtrack, that's your cue. I'm free tonight. Simple, contained, decisive. Here's the deeper truth most men never hear. Women aren't trying to trap you. They're trying to feel chosen without having to beg. And men who understand this don't chase. They don't hesitate. They don't explain themselves. They notice patterns. They respond calmly. They move when the moment opens. If you've missed these signals before, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you were navigating without the full map. Now you have it. And once you see this language, you don't strain for signs anymore. You read the room. You trust what you observe. You act without noise. That's the difference. And once you understand it, you move differently from here on out. Have you ever replayed a moment in your head? Not because you said something wrong, but because you said nothing at all, not froze, not rejected, just stayed still. Men who stay silent in moments like that don't do it because they lack confidence. They do it because they respect certainty. They don't move unless the signal is clean. And that's exactly where the mistake happens. Because what no one ever tells you is this. When a woman wants your attention, she almost never announces it. Not because she's playing games, not because she's manipulative, but because saying, I want you out loud costs her something. It exposes her. And exposure feels dangerous. So instead, she lets her body speak. And if you miss what the body is saying, she doesn't think he didn't notice. She thinks he's not interested. That assumption changes everything. This isn't about being clueless. It's about never being taught the language you were expected to already understand. And once you see it, you'll realize how many moments weren't missed opportunities. They were unread signals. We're breaking down 10 things women do when they're desperate for your attention, but won't admit it. Not dramatic things, not obvious things, physical tells, behavioral slips, moments that feel casual unless you know what you're looking at. And by the time we reach the final sign, you'll understand why some men seem to always know when to move, and others keep telling themselves, I played it safe. Let's begin. Number 10. She bends over in front of you deliberately. Watch how she does it. This isn't about bending down. Everyone bends down. It's how she bends. Does she hinge at the waist instead of crouching? Does she slow it down just a little? Does she glance back? Not fully, just enough to check. That's not comfort. That's presentation. Men who notice patterns instead of reacting emotionally understand this instinctively. She's not asking you to touch her. She's checking if you'll look because looking is the first permission. When she does this and you snap your eyes away like you've been caught doing something wrong, the message she receives is simple. He's not attracted to me. And that thought closes doors quietly. So, no, you don't leer. You don't apologize with your eyes. You acknowledge. You let the moment exist. And when she stands back up, relaxed, casual, grounded, you say, "You good down there?" If she laughs, if she blushes, if her energy softens instead of pulling away, that wasn't accidental. That was a test. And you just passed the first layer. But here's where it gets more interesting, because the next signals don't just invite your attention, they direct it. And most men never realize that distinction until it's too late. Here's where most men get it wrong. They assume attraction is loud, obvious, verbal. But women who are unsure of your interest don't escalate with words. They escalate with placement. Where her hands go, where her body draws your eyes, what she highlights without explaining why. And if you're the kind of man who stays controlled, observant, and quiet, these signals are aimed directly at you. You just weren't told that. Number 9. She touches her neck, chest, or thighs around you. This is not random. Fidgeting. A woman doesn't touch certain parts of her body casually around a man she doesn't want thinking about her body. The neck, the collarbone, the upper chest, the thigh. These aren't comfort zones, they're awareness zones. When she runs her fingers along her neck and tilts her head slightly, she's softening her posture. When she plays with a necklace resting between her breasts, she's anchoring your eyes. When her hand rests high on her thigh and doesn't move, she's holding space, not for conversation, for imagination. This isn't conscious strategy in the way men think of strategy. It's instinctive seduction. Her body is asking a quiet question. Are you seeing what I'm showing you? Men who never explain themselves but observe know this moment matters because if you look away out of politeness, she doesn't feel respected. She feels invisible, and invisibility kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. So you don't comment. You don't rush. You meet her eyes. You hold them. You say nothing. If she keeps touching those same places while maintaining eye contact, she's not nervous. She's performing, and that performance escalates. Number 8, she accidentally brushes against you repeatedly. Once is coincidence, twice is situational, 3 times is intentional. A hip brushing yours as she walks by. Her chest grazing your arm when she reaches for something that didn't require reaching that way. Her leg pressing against yours when there's clearly room. Women who are desperate for your attention don't grab you. They create excuses to be felt because physical contact bypasses the fear of verbal rejection. And here's the part most men misunderstand. She's not trying to seduce you yet. She's testing permission. Do you tense up? Do you move away? Do you ignore it like it didn't happen? Or do you respond calmly? Men who understand power don't overreact. They reciprocate at the same level. So, when she brushes against you, your hand touches her back, lower back, shoulder. Nothing aggressive, nothing rushed, just acknowledgement. If she leans into it instead of pulling away, the boundary has already moved, and she moved it. But what happens next is where things turn unmistakably deliberate, because now she's no longer using her body to test your attention. She starts curating what you see. And that's where men either wake up or miss the entire point. Here's the shift most men never notice. At first, her body tests if you're paying attention. Now, it starts controlling how you pay attention. This is where attraction stops being passive and becomes intentional. Number 7. She adjusts her clothing to show more skin around you. This is not about comfort, it's about calibration. Watch closely. She pulls her neckline just a little lower after you sit down. She hikes her skirt up slightly when she crosses her legs, then doesn't adjust it back. A strap slips off her shoulder and stays there. Women don't forget clothing around men they don't care about. They optimize it around men they do. This is strategic exposure. Not vulgar, not obvious, just enough to trigger awareness. Men who stay silent and observant often misread this moment because they assume acknowledging it would be disrespectful. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Ignoring what she's deliberately presenting doesn't make you honorable. It makes you invisible. She's watching your eyes, not to catch you staring, but to see if you register her effort. So when you notice it, you don't apologize with your body language. You don't pretend you missed it. You stay grounded, and you say something simple, controlled, almost amused. That outfit's dangerous. Nothing more. If her posture opens, if she smiles instead of deflecting, if she adjusts again, she didn't feel objectified. She felt seen. And once a woman feels seen, she escalates again. Number 6. She positions herself so you can see down her shirt. This is where men who think they're being respectful completely lose the plot. If she leans forward when talking to you repeatedly, if she angles her body so gravity works in your favor, if she bends forward to grab a drink when she didn't need to, she knows exactly what you can see. Women understand angles. They understand sight lines. They understand how men visually process attraction. And when she creates those angles consistently, she's not hoping you notice. She's assuming you will. This is where most men panic internally. Do I look? Do I ignore it? Do I seem creepy? Men who notice patterns instead of reacting emotionally understand the rule. You acknowledge without lingering, without